Can you still afford to buy a home in this market? With interest rates jumping from 3% up to 7%, everything feels a lot more expensive. But today, I'm going to show you exactly how to figure out your real budget, and it might be more doable than you think. Hi, I am Kareem, a licensed realtor with Girl Up Homes out here in Denver, Colorado. I post weekly videos breaking down the Denver real estate market, giving you honest local advice whether you're buying, selling, or just planning for the future. So if you find content like this helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and reach out whenever you are ready. Now let's start with the basics. What actually determines how much house you can afford? It all comes down to a few key factors. First, very most important, is your income. This is the foundation. How much money you make directly determines how much house you can afford. I think everybody knows this. But what some people don't factor into their income is their debt. How much do you owe each month? Things like student loans, car payments, credit card debt, all of this will factor into how much house you can actually afford. Something else that is very important is your credit score. The higher your credit score, the better interest rates you can get and the better loan programs you have access to. And so a lot of people who are below a certain threshold, if you're in the 500, 400s, you're not going to get as good of an interest rate as someone in the 800s. And most importantly, what affects your monthly payment when you're going to buy a house is today's mortgage rates. Now, you've probably heard this a lot, but when rates were about 3%, when COVID hit, when they dropped rates a lot, mortgage payments were really low. And that is why everybody can afford to buy a house. But today, mortgage rates are always around 6-7%, more than double what they were during COVID. And so that same house is going to cost you a lot more than what it was back then, which is why a lot of people's affordability has been going down in the recent years. Now, here's a realistic example based on what I see in Denver, Colorado. Now, let's say you make $80,000 a year, which is about $6,700 a month. Now, typically, most lenders want to keep your debts under 36% of your total monthly income. But a lot of my buyers are aggressive, especially if they don't have expensive car payments, lots of credit card debt, student loans. These are the people that will take that income a little bit higher. So instead of capping housing at 28% of your income, let's say you push it up and you're willing to go up to 40% of your monthly income. That's going to be roughly $2,600 to $2,700 for your mortgage, your taxes, your HOA, and your insurance for your monthly payment. Now, 5% down and a 7% interest rate, a $2,700 monthly budget will get you into a home that's about $350,000 to $400,000. Now, a lot of this can change depending on how much money you put down. If you put more money down, you can afford a bigger house. That's pretty much just how it always works. Now, all of this depends on the taxes, the HOA, and how much you pay each month for insurance on your home. Now, if rates were lower, let's say rates were at 5%, that same $2,700 monthly payment could get you up to $450,000 on a home. This is with the same down payment, same everything, but the mortgage rate being lower allows you to afford almost $50,000 more. So yeah, interest rates absolutely matter, but your comfort zone and debt situation is just as important. And just remember that every single buyer is different. I have some clients buying $500,000 homes, making less than $100,000 because they don't have student loans, they don't have car payments, they have a lot more money that they can stretch on their monthly payment. Now let's take a look at what you can get right now in Denver and surrounding areas at different price points. Now let's say you were talking with my lender, you get approved for $300,000, what would we be looking for? Most of the time, under $300,000, we're looking at 2-bedroom condos in places like Aurora, Denver, and I will show you something like that on the screen now. Now, example 2. Now, let's say you get approved for $400,000. $400,000, you're looking for either townhomes or starter homes. Here's something I found under $400,000. Now, example 3, this is kind of the gold standard. A lot of my people, and you probably at home, want to be approved for around $500,000 and plus. And the reason is because this is kind of the gold standard. 3-bed, 2-bathroom, nice backyard, pretty big lot homes in places like Aurora. Here's an example of that on the screen now. Now, these aren't fixer-uppers either. These are move-in ready properties that buyers are buying in today's market. So yes, the market has changed, interest rates are higher. But that does not mean that you are priced out of this real estate market. It just means you need to run numbers and understand your options. Now, a lot of people are surprised to learn that they can afford a lot more than they actually think. Or, most importantly, there's a lot of programs out here in Colorado that can help keep affordability down. A lot of down payment assistance options that I use with almost all of my buyers. Now, if you're wondering how much home you can actually afford, just drop the word assessment down in the comments or send me a quick email and I will get back to you. And hey, if you're a Denver homeowner thinking about selling, I put together a free ebook that shows you exactly how to boost your home's value by up to $34,000 without spending thousands of dollars on renovations. It even includes my 18-point free seller checklist and a free home evaluation. Just click the link below and grab your free seller kit today. And I'll personally follow up to help you create a game plan to help you sell for top dollar. Now, as always, I am Kareem Howard, a licensed realtor at Gerlach Homes. I will see you guys in the next video.